Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming. I wanted to talk about an old game, a free game on GOG.com, and its sequel that has just come out 26 years later. So, Beneath a Steel Sky. So this was a action adventure point and click game from the early 90s, 94 here in fact. And this was sort of set in a, you could say, cyberpunk futuristic city where you are this guy called Robert Foster and you go in, and this big city, of course, as you know, there are the rich and the poor, the corruption, big brother, stuff like that. So this was the old game. It is free on GOG, and this is a permanently free game, so you can just add it to your card, download it. It's also been updated because GOG tends to update all the games, so they run on the latest operating systems. It also runs on Linux and Mac, and you also get a bunch of other stuff like wallpapers. There's a full comic book because this is inspired in a way by, you can see here, directed by award-winning comic book author Dave Gibbons. So his comic book inspired by the game itself is included to complete the content, so you get the comic. Now the new game has just come out a few days ago on the 16th of July, and yeah, it looked very interesting. I requested a copy of it and I've been playing it for the last few days because the devs were kind enough to send me one. So this new game is on a sale right now, 20% off. It is 607 rupees, 27.99 dollars, 23.99 pounds, and 23.99 euros. Also, if you own Broken Sword 5 on Steam, you get a further 10% discount. So I thought I'll mention a bit about this game, and you could try the old game if you like playing adventure games and you don't have an issue with older graphics. But I also wanted to show you a bit of this game, a bit of gameplay. So I have played a few hours, like 5-6 hours of the main game. I'll show you a bit from the start of the game, not exact start, like towards the start. I just went past the intro section, so I just went past this area, and I want to basically show you right when we get into the main city. And yeah, I've done this part. And yeah, so you can have an idea of what the gameplay is like, what the graphics look like. And there's some interesting puzzle elements here. The way they do the puzzles is actually very nice. It's a bit more logical, sort of like a. But yeah, anyway, check out the game on Steam. At least wishlist it if it looks interesting, but it is on a discount. And I'll see you in the gameplay. Alright, so here we are in the game. So I've done, like I said, the intro part. I have played a lot further ahead, but I just wanted to start from here to show you a bit of gameplay because I've already done this segment, so the puzzles etc. won't be too difficult. Now the first thing that I liked about this game was the art style. The art style was surprisingly much better than I expected, and it's got like a full open world feel to it as well. Now I don't know if it's technically open world, but so far there are sections where you travel and between loading screens. Okay, music seems a little loud. I should maybe reduce it. Anyway, so basically we got inside these gates of the city called Union City. We were outside and we had to basically get a fake ID to get inside because we live in the outside called the Gap. The outside is called the Gap, and our guy here, we are called Robert Foster, and we took an ID of a guy called Graham, and basically a dead guy, through some illegal traders, let's say. Basically there's a girl who was selling the stuff. So as you know, with these point and click games, you do certain things for certain people and they give you other things. So that's how we got the ID. Now the story is, this guy, our guy, we were in a village on the outside, and he had gone fishing with a friend and his young son. A big machine sort of thing comes out of the water and kidnaps the son, and we are here trying to find what happened, who kidnapped him, etc. So that's the main story. We got an ID and we are now going into the city. The other thing is, the dead guy we found and took his ID, he is somehow connected. So we are going to go into the city and see what this is about and how this guy is connected. So we are going to pretend to be him and see. So I wanted to start here.
Welcome, Citizen Graham.
Because this will show you the city.
Outdated U-chip firmware detected. Firmware must be updated to use Union City facilities.
was about to return to give Ember a piece of my mind when...
Transporting you to the nearest safety services.
So basically, the dead guy has been dead for a while. We got the ID, so it's out of date because this is again a totalitarian state. Everything needs to be updated and chipped, and we have been missing for a couple of weeks. The dead guy. So we are pretending to be him, and we need to get things updated. Yeah, I just wanted to show you this part because this is the start of the game basically.
The stalkers had come into the city, but looking around, that didn't make any sense. This place was a paradise compared to the Union City I'd left all those years ago. Joey had certainly turned the place around. I had to find the stalkers, and whoever he was, Graham was my only lead. I just had to sort out my U-chip problems first.
So basically everybody has a chip in the palm of their hand, and that is sort of the main thing everybody uses. So you scan it, you buy stuff, whatever you do it through that. In the society here, everybody has like a level. It's called a kudos level, and depending on how high your kudos is, the higher member of society you are. And unusually in this city, the rich and the wealthy, the elites, they live in the bottom underground, and the poor people live at the top with all the pollution and stuff. So also the one of the reasons I like this game and the world they have created is, like some of the older movies or older adventure games where they imagine the future in a sort of 50s style, like the Fallout series. For example, now we have all these cyberpunk games, and you have this neon everywhere and holograms and people having chips in their faces, like cyberpunk, of course. Here, it feels more like the 1950s version of what they thought the future would look like. It's got that feel. So, anyway, let's go here, and we need to scan and get our chip updated. I'll try not do too much of the dialogue because each conversation has many branches. I've already played this, so I know, and I don't want to bore you guys.
Hello?
Good morning, Graham, Grundy. I trust you are well on this fine day.
Actually,
Aha! Have you tried Dijon buttercream spankles? It's new.
sounds delightful.
That's the spirit. Now, Mr. Grundy, we both know why you're here, don't we?
I guess we do.
Your firmware. It's ridiculously out of date.
Let's get you sorted then, shall we? Go on, place your hand on the platform.
Okay, here goes.
Well, that's very strange. Your data.
What's very strange?
What's very strange?
You said that's very strange a moment ago. Something about my data.
I didn't. You said, what's very strange?
I only said it because you said that's very strange.
Great. What else can I do for you, Citizen Graham?
There was something strange about the ID that I had acquired. While she may have lost the plot, I definitely hadn't.
Basically, what has happened is, whenever he scans, it sort of erases the last few seconds of that AI woman.
Thank you.
And
Was I helpful?
Yes.
yes,
Would you like to fill out a survey?
nah.
Absolutely not.
Okay then. Keep a smile on your face, Graham.
Now that I'd dealt with my U-chip problem, I needed to find out more about my new identity. Graham Grundy.
Alright, I'm just trying to show you some of the map and the world, because I was very impressed by how good this game looks. So you have robots and
Union City wishes all citizens a happy aspiration.
that guy's depressed. Can even talk to these guys here.
Hey, 2CU?
I'm not 2CU.
Oh, sorry. You look just like the one outside.
Oh, so we all look alike, do we?
Now hold on, I didn't mean that. You have to admit, though, you do look a lot like 2CU.
My name is 1CU. 1. We're totally different.
Oh, so is 2CU like an upgrade? Like a better version of you?
You're speaking to the first, an original, a numero uno community welfare droid.
That's all for now.
Enjoy your day, Citizen Graham.
Yeah, I've already talked to all these guys, so I'm not going. Basically, let me show you a terminal, because we can get some information, and I'll give you information about the city. So this guy here, this guy is called Savior Joey. And Joey was an AI, a robot, created by our guy 10 years ago, and he left him in charge of the city. So this guy, the Savior, he seems to have gone,
Union
left the
City
city.
wishes all citizens a happy aspiration.
Man,
day.
this guy is so dull, this robot. So what the city has now done is they have a council with different, what do you call it, ministries, you could say. So over on the top left, you see Graham Grundy and C+. That is our level of kudos, the standing in society, you could say. And it was like B, 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 then it went down to B minus and then C+. And this is because we have been missing the actual guy. If you look at the city guide here, there are like 5 ministries. Ministry of Aspiration, Well-being, Safety, Consumption, Comfort. So messages are locked, and then personal data, there's nothing there at the moment. My cat is up again. And there we have this thing here, city live. So these are all the messages that we've had, because we have been missing for 14 days. So 14 days ago, polite message, then ads and stuff. And what we need to know is, you can see here it says your kudos level is going down. So these are one of those games where you have to read everything and understand what's going on. So here, this is the message we need. Ministry of Well-being, polite message. Attention, Mr. Graham Grundy. Due to unexplained absence from the systems, an appointment has been arranged for you and Mrs. Grundy to discuss your well-being with mentor Alonso. The interview will take place at 10:30 a.m. today at your apartment. We hope you enjoy the meeting. So we have to go home, and like the mentor guy,
Social climbers. Customize your aspiration brooch here.
the mentor guy will come, and we have to pretend to be the guy we have stolen the ID from. And yeah, so what I'll do is, instead of sort of spending too much time roaming around, we don't really have much to do. We just basically talk and look at things. We'll go home and we'll pretend to be the guy, and then I'll continue from there.
Welcome, Citizen Graham. Where would you like to go?
I knew Graham had some sort of connection to Milo's kidnapping. His home would be my best, in fact, my only lead. Take me to Graham... my home.
Lakeview Apartments. Certainly, Citizen Graham.
The city knew a lot more about Graham than I did.
Yeah, it took me a lot longer first time because I was exploring and doing things.
As I arrived, masquerading as a dead man called Graham, I was apprehensive about But I had no choice. I had to find the stalker. And whoever he was, Graham was my only lead. The seal on the floor showed my buddy Joey just as I remembered him, when I left him in charge all those years ago.
Hey, buddy, watch where you're standing.
What's your problem?
Your face, for one.
Excuse me.
Well, if you hadn't been staring at the floor like a moron, you'd have seen me.
I didn't catch your name.
I'm your mama.
What? Do you live here?
Do I look like I live here?
I'm not from around here. Maybe everyone here looks like you.
Yeah? And what do I look like?
Trouble.
Keep walking.
Do you know where I can find Joey?
Oh, I don't know. Weirdo. They say he walked into the gap, or sailed across the sea. Either way, he abandoned us all in this place.
You don't like it here?
Needs more color, wouldn't you agree?
Do you know a guy called Graham Grundy?
Nope. Sounds like a moron.
In that case, let me introduce myself. Graham Grundy.
Doesn't surprise me.
What happened after Joey left?
Well, duh. Council runs the city now.
I'll leave you to... whatever it was you were doing.
Aw, really? I'll miss you.
Yes, I'm... very busy.
Hey, dirtbag! What's your favorite color?
Dirt.
Huh?
You heard me. What's your favorite color?
Blue?
Lame.
But you're wearing... Never mind.
Later, man purse.
Later, backpack.
Ha! You got nothing.
Clearly not everyone in Union City was quite as courteous as they were happy.
Yeah. So basically we're trying to go back to our apartment. Elevator is here. Let's scan it and we are good to go. We could have just walked up there.
Wait, I know that you, Chip. Oh my, is it really? Yes, it is. Master Graham, you have returned. How wonderful.
Oh, good day, huh?
I shall inform Madam and her guest that you have arrived. She will be so pleased.
No, that won't be necessary.
She will be overjoyed that you have finally returned to the bosom of the family.
Master Alonso is here. Mentor Alonso.
My apologies for the interruption, Madam Songbird. It's Master Graham.
What about him, Chipworth?
It appears he has arrived home, Madam.
He has, but that's... wonderful! Oh, thank Joey! My dear husband is back!
Ah, I was hoping to meet you, Mr. Grundy. Mentor Alonso, Ministry of Well-Being. I was just here to investigate some irregularities.
I'm sure my Graham needs a few moments to freshen up. Why don't I show you my kudos records? I don't know who you are, but right now we're both in a lot of trouble. So for both our sakes, you'd better convince the mentor that you're Graham.
Yes, of course.
I'll stall him. Just don't come through that door until you know enough about Graham to pass yourself off as him.
Don't worry. You can count on me. I wasn't sure what I'd walked into. But if I was to convince anyone I was Graham, I needed to find out more about him. His job, his family, his state of mind. The mentor could ask me about anything. Information about Graham was scattered all over the place. All I had to do was look around.
I have to quickly sort of check and see what this guy is.
A shelf full of sports gear and awards from years gone by. That looked like Graham and his wife on their wedding day. They looked blissfully in love. Rhythmic gymnastics, first place. Amethyst or purple glass? Either way, it looked expensive. Fairy tales, courtly romances, and art books. At least one person in the city appreciated a nice cup of coffee, although I doubted Union City Blend contained even an ounce of actual coffee beans. Union City Red. I suspected it was more fruit juice than wine. Personally, I preferred an open fire for cooking.
He's been living outside like old people.
Definitely an improvement on the food dispensers they used to have here.
And so we need as much like where he worked and all the details. So now this is like an interesting thing, a health scanner.
Welcome back, Graham. Displaying your health chart now. It has been 2 weeks since your last checkup.
C plus.
You have lost weight. Congratulations.
And
It has been noted that your height has increased. Adjusting records accordingly.
height has
Scanning
increased.
for medical implants. Error. Implant missing. Refreshing biomodification database. Please wait. Removing cardiac implant registration. Registering Schriebman port as new implant.
The scanner had detected my Schriebman port, which allowed me to interact with Link, the city's old network. Since then, I'd pretty much forgotten about it.
Adjusting your health rating from C to A+.
I was considerably fitter than Graham. That was good to know. What devices do I have installed?
You possess a U-chip personal data implant in the perlicue of your right hand. It is functioning correctly. Your cardiac regulator implants have been marked as removed. Please return them to your nearest medical waste facility. You possess a Schriebman local interneural connection port in the third cervical vertebrae. This hardware predates the Minos system and cannot be accessed at this terminal.
That's probably for the best.
You are welcome, Citizen Graham.
Do you have any advice for me?
A single can of Spankles contains more than your daily dietary requirements. Look for the clown. Drink Spankles. Keep a smile on your face.
Thanks.
You are welcome, Citizen Graham.
That's all for now.
Due to the alteration of your physical parameters, a new uniform has been ordered and will arrive at your home shortly. Keep a smile on your face.
I was a lot healthier than Graham. In fact, I'd say Graham was downright unhealthy. I had made some headway, but I still needed to know about Graham's work and social standing. So Graham was a cleaning supervisor? The logo on the uniform was quite distinct. I needed to find out who he worked for. If I slipped up, I'd be exposed right away.
Alright, so basically we are trying to gather as much information for the interview so we don't get caught. So this is Graham's room.
I was hit by the acrid smell of chemicals.
He's got some old
I
posters,
wondered if Graham self-medicated.
conspiracy theories and stuff like that. So Graham was into all of this stuff.
Giant scorpions in the sewers, real or fake? Unlikely. The tentacle monsters would have eaten them years ago.
And you will also, you can see,
Looked like these photos were taken by the city walls.
he used to develop photos as well, you can see here. Like old style cameras. So we are getting all these things. We also collected military, you can see, old military stuff, medals and things.
An impressive collection of medals, ranging from bravery to long service. Most of the medals dated back to before I was born.
So yeah, he collected these things, but again, he developed pictures. And what else do we need to see? And oh yeah, his uniform is here. Yeah, the FPS drops in this area a little bit. The game is a little stuttery here and
the
there.
one Graham's wife wore. It was cut for someone much larger. I needed to find out who he worked for. If I slipped up, I'd be exposed right away.
You can see the logo there. It's one of the ministries. You can see his social standing is C+. You go into the civic guide.
The council was made up of 5 ministries. Each ministry had their own logo and distinctive color scheme. From the color of his uniform, it was clear that Graham worked for the Ministry of Comfort. I knew quite a bit about Graham's work and health, but I figured I could learn more if I found his kudos records. A chart showing that Graham's kudos score had recently dropped. I wondered what had caused such a sharp decline.
Basically absence.
I had learned all I was going to from Graham's apartment. I hoped it would be enough.
You can see he was B, 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 then he went down to B minus C plus. It's been dropping. Now let's go and do the interview. We can actually gather more information, but this should be enough to answer the questions convincingly. You can see here there's some photographs here.
The pictures were all of Graham's wife. They were photochemical prints, taken using an old-style film camera. The retro
She is not
technology
happy.
had managed to blend songbirds seamlessly into the fake backgrounds. The photography was impressive, but the subject didn't look happy. The pictures in the apartment told a sad story. A blissful romance that had soured with time.
Alright, now let's go and see if we can deal with this. Alonso.
If I was going to convince the mentor, I had to be sure I knew enough about Graham. I couldn't keep them waiting any longer. From that point on, I had to be Graham Grundy, cleaning supervisor.
Darling, I thought you were going to freshen up.
I was, but I missed the sweet sound of your voice.
Oh, Graham, always the romantic. But please don't kiss me until you've showered.
Wouldn't dream of it. Besides, I couldn't let Alfonso here
Alonso?
monopolize my lovely wife for a moment longer.
In which case, shall we begin?
Of course. Shall we take a seat in the lounge? It was now or never.
So, Mr. Grundy.
Mentor Alonso, what would you like to know?
Ah, well, straight to the point. I like that. As I was explaining to your dear wife earlier, there have been some issues with your activity records of late.
Issues? What do you mean?
Mr. Grundy, a word to the wise. This will be much smoother if you leave the questions to me. Now, whilst your records load, remind me, in which ministry are you employed?
Comfort. I'm a cleaning supervisor.
Yes, of course.
Look at the wife in the
Here we
background.
go. Graham Grundy, 42, cleaning supervisor with the Ministry of Comfort. Cleaning supervisors require Class C exertive activity certification. I trust that your health rating is sufficient.
I did drop down a bit, but I'm back to Class A+ now.
Excellent, excellent. Very good. So, with that in mind, I will mark you as fit for work, barring any other issues. Now, obviously, your kudos level will have fluctuated due to your absence. You're a C+ right now. I note you used to be much higher.
B.
Yes, well, you'll be back up there in no time. Well, that is all I need to check off. But I'd be remiss if I didn't offer you all the extra support and guidance that you need.
Mentor?
When someone goes off-grid, there's usually some underlying trouble. And as a mentor, I like to think of myself as a bit of a troubleshooter.
Of course. I appreciate the concern.
So, let's get to the bottom of all this confusion. Dig a bit deeper, eh?
Deeper? Yes, right. By all means, Mentor.
Tell me about your workplace. I trust there are no issues.
You look at the wife, she'll be doing the signal for where he works. He works at the train department. Train depot.
The land train facility. It's a fine place to work.
I'm sure it is. Department of Land Trains and Extra City Commerce. Wonderful.
Oh, yes. Couldn't be happier.
We are, of course, very grateful for your service, Mr. Grundy. But there we come to the crux of the matter. Your absence. 15 days is a long time. This is, of course, why my ministry has become involved in your case. We have been concerned for your well-being.
I'm fine. Better than ever, in fact.
Excellent. Now, speaking of your health, I note you had some surgery last year. Tell me about your implants. Are they working effectively?
You mean my heart regulators? Nothing to worry about. As you can see, the beat goes on.
Yes. Well, I must say you're in remarkable shape considering your medical history. Of course, your mental well-being is just as important to us. How are you getting on with your rather peculiar hobbies?
Photography.
You mean my photography?
I do, yes.
You can't beat the feeling of an old-time film camera.
I can imagine. You have an eye for composition. Although I don't understand your interest in using such archaic technology. Choosing to fiddle with knobs rather than availing of ministry-recommended filters, stabilization, automatic archive, and data retrieval, all courtesy of Minos. If we can't see what you create, how can we share in your interests?
What can I say? I like a challenge.
I'm sure you do, Graham. Ah, well. I have a busy day of appointments, so sadly we must conclude our little chat there.
It's been a pleasure, Mentor.
Hasn't it? So with that in mind, perhaps you can tell me where you've been for the last 2 weeks.
What? Right. Yes, where have I been the last 2 weeks?
Well?
Okay, so the last 2 weeks, I was working at the land train facility, of course. Cleaning. I'm a cleaning supervisor. And while I was cleaning, I must have bumped my head. The next thing I knew, I was in the middle of nowhere, still on the train. 2 weeks later, the train returned to the city. Cleaner than it's ever been, I might add.
My poor darling! How awful! What a dreadful thing to happen!
I believe I have all the answers I need from you.
Well, that's a relief.
I'm sure it is, Mr. Grundy.
Well, thank you for stopping by.
Just a teeny tiny thing before I go. There appears to be 1 or 2 anomalous results here.
Anomalous? That doesn't sound good.
It may be nothing. But here's the thing. I get strange readings when I scan your U-chip. Any idea why?
Maybe it got damaged when I fell.
Ah, yes. Of course. That's probably it. You see, the only other time I've seen anything like this is when a U-chip has been tampered with. No one would have done that now, would they?
Tampered with? I didn't even know that you could do that.
Graham's a supervisor, not a subversive mentor.
Yes, a supervisor, not a subversive.
Damaged when he fell. Request analysis. There. Perfect. I have everything I need.
Great. Chipbot will show you out.
Chipworth, darling.
Just my little joke. Chipworth.
Good day, Mr. and Mrs. Grundy.
I don't know who you are or what you've done with Graham, but I think we got away with that.
I hope so. I don't think that we would get away with it a second time.
Nor do I. If there is anything wrong with Graham's U-chip, you would better sort it out sharpish before Alonso's analysis comes back. Who even are you? Where's Graham? Are you that contact he kept ranting about?
Whatever Graham had been up to, it had gotten him killed. I had to come clean with his wife. There's no easy way to say this, but I'm afraid Graham is dead.
What? How? Where?
I found him. In the Gap.
The Gap? What was the idiot doing in the Gap? Was that where he was always sneaking off to? Ugh!
A child, Milo, was abducted from a village out there and brought into Union City. And I think Graham was somehow connected.
Sure, and pigs fly. Listen, stranger. I'm sure you can understand this has been a rather harrowing day. This is all too much for me right now.
Tell me about it.
So, I'm gonna do some damage control on social media. In the meantime, I guess that officially it is your home, so you can stay, but this is my bedroom, and that one is yours. No cute ideas.
Understood.
What is that
Songbird
accent?
seemed rattled by the news. Not surprising. But whoever this contact of Graham's was, I suspected they were the key to finding Milo.
Alright, I think I'll end it here because I think I've given you a good idea of what the game is like. I did not show you the puzzle, the logic thing here. So basically you have this scanner here that you can use and manipulate objects. So this is like the only thing that we haven't gone through because I was just focusing more on the story. But you use this to mess around and solve puzzles in the game. And yeah, my cat has just woken up, so before he starts screaming, I wanted to end this. But yeah, like I said, check it out on Steam, 20% off and 10% extra for people who own Broken Sword 5.
Excuse me, please?
And yeah, I like it. I've played like a lot further ahead from this point. I'll try and continue this, and maybe if I finish it soon enough, I'll make a review as well. But so far I haven't run into any major issues. Occasional frame drops in one or two places, but otherwise it's been smooth. Thank you for watching and see you next time.